That's a nice diagonal of the three of us, though.
No, we'll not. We'll just have to keep the posture right. Good?
Good.
Okay, so basically what's happening here is I always had this idea of doing a podcast when people arrive in Ibiza, I go to the airport, pick them up, bring them here before they get too mangled and lost to the island. Just have a catch up, have a conversation, have a chat, ask some questions. And the other night, for the first time ever, I met Tommy. We've been chatting on Instagram for years and years and we've never actually met up. And we wanted to do a collab video together, and I'm sure we're going to do one later in the month. But me, Tommy and Kevin, I also just met last week. He's on the Creator Club, and that's how we're friends. And I've seen him probably 3 nights out in a row, and we've been in no state to have a good, genuine, a good conversation. So we all met at Boho on Thursday, and the conversation, like, we just didn't stop talking. Like, Cindy, we all had girls with us, and our girlfriends or girls were kind of annoyed because we were just lost amongst ourselves, just chatting and couldn't stop. And there was a little bit of jealousy going on, I think, but it is what it is. So, what I decided is bring the boys here. This isn't an official podcast. This is literally just an attempt at this to see how we get on. Just give it a go. If we make some mistakes, that's no problem. Please leave feedback down below in the comments. Let me know what we can do better. Let me know who you want on. Tommy's here for a month at least. Kevin's here all summer. And I think we'll just let the conversations roll. Yeah?
Any names of the podcast?
Any names? Haven't had a think yet.
We took ages on our one, off the cuff.
I like off the cuff. It's very good.
I don't know who came up with that. I think it might be me, actually.
I'm going to have a think. This is literally I just texted both of them yesterday being like, are you free? And they were like, well, no, but let's just do it anyway. So,
of course.
Do you feel like you have to attach your name to it though, like a lot of the biggest ones?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Let's just see how it goes. Let's get it established first.
I feel like you're very prepared. Have you made some notes there?
Yeah, he has.
It's not my first rodeo. I've done actually quite a few. So the first question I've prepared is actually one of my favourite questions that I ask a lot outside of podcasts as well. But I remember you talking before on your stories, telling me about who influenced your original taste in music. And you mentioned Depeche Mode and your parents playing certain tunes.
Correct.
Was there an early memory where you got particularly into music, since we're in Ibiza and...
I mean, parents play you their music when you're younger and you act with disdain. You go, what is this bollocks? Like, my dad used to play the Stranglers and I used to hate it. You know, the famous song from, what's the film? Where he's on his back, he's cooking. What's the film? I can't remember the film. But my dad used to play Stranglers and I used to hate it. But then I used to go to the gigs with him and I started to enjoy it. And then I think it really sparked when I came to Ibiza for the first time in 2018, I think it was. My friend was like, listen to this guy called Solomon, because we're going on Sunday, Solomon +1. I had no idea who it was, and then I put on Solomon Antique de Orange, you know that one with the circle, and I was like, fucking hell, no, this is unbelievable.
The first time I saw Solomon, he played Master and Slave by Depeche Mode, and Solomon is really heavily influenced by 80s music. Yeah. And when you said that on your story, it resonated with me, because whatever your parents play for you, it really sticks in your head. And when I was enjoying gigs and music so much, I was enjoying the likes of Solomon and Crystal Clear, who had played 80s music, which is what my parents had always played. It was like nostalgia when you were in the nightclub.
Of course. I took my mum. My mum turned 50 and I took her to Printworks.
Really?
Because she was like, I haven't been raving since when she was younger. So I was like, why don't you listen to Solomon? She fell in love with Solomon. And she was like, oh God, this is the sort of stuff I used to listen to. I was like, why don't you come to Printworks with us? So yeah, going out with my mum at Printworks, which was fucking memorable moment.
I remember it, yeah.
It was really, well, she was in VIP and then we was messaging each other. I was like, you alright, you good? She was like, yeah, I need to come downstairs with you lot. So she came downstairs and then it was fucking quality.
That's the thing though about Solomon's audience. I saw him in Amsterdam, and me and my girlfriend were there, and we were the youngest in the queue by about 20 years.
This is it.
About 4 or 5 years ago. We couldn't believe the age profile of the people going in. There's people in their 50s and 60s going in to see him.
I just like Solomon's persona behind the decks. Just big man with
with long hair.
Just feeling the vibes. He's just feels the vibe from everyone.
But it's like a story, isn't it? Because I could put on Solomon and work for like 3 or 4 hours and I'm just thinking, right, I'm done now. It's so good.
Well, that's how I got actually into techno music even more so. It was a friend originally, Keen, but what really drove my interest in techno was when you're in the gym, you could be there on the gym floor for 7-8 hours in a row.
Yeah.
And if you listen to 80s music or rap or anything mainstream, you get sick of it so quick because the song changes every 3 minutes. The lyrics get stuck. With techno, it's almost like this rhythmic beat, and you could listen to it all day and not get sick of it. So I have a playlist of like 1,000 techno songs, mainly from the gigs I've always been to. And it just plays in the gym all the time. It's perfect for the background of a personal training gym.
Do you use much techno in your YouTube?
Well, Epidemic Sound, Music Bed. I go for the deep house section, but that's about all I get away with. But it's actually funny that you're asking him about how his parents influenced his music taste, because don't know how many people know this, but my dad was actually a DJ. And he plays, like when I was a kid growing up, he would go to the attic where he had his massive speaker system and his decks and everything, and he would play like the maddest music ever. Well, at the time I thought it was mad, but it was actually like tech house, really heavy. Like you're waiting at least 5 or 6 minutes for a drop, and then you're waiting again 5 or 6 minutes for the next drop. And I was like, as a teenager, I was like, how can anyone ever listen to that? And now, me and my dad, our relationship has just got better the longer I've lived in Ibiza. Because now wherever I am, whatever time it is, I send my dad all the videos of his favourite DJs. Like, I was sending him a video of Kind Music and DC10 at 6 in the morning. He was like, oh, very good, I'm having my Weetabix on the way to work. Enjoy. But it's like, because of my music taste has changed so much, mine and my dad's relationship has got so much better.
That's interesting.
And like,
I think it's quite common though.
Yeah.
Like whatever your parents played, I remember on Saturday mornings, always my parents would be up early, and because it was Saturday, I'd sleep in till 10 or 11. With my younger brother, we were the youngest too, so we were spoiled. And they'd be playing 80s music, and it just sticks in your head. And often the older you get, the more you can appreciate older music.
Yeah. And then you can appreciate. Sorry for butting in.
No, go on.
You can then appreciate when it's in film as well. Like
exactly.
Films like Bronson is just incredible. Like Bronson made me fall in love with it again.
And Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the music makes the film.
It's so true.
But when you attach a memory to a tune, it makes the tune so much more powerful. It resonates far more.
That's what I used to love about doing videos for Mike when I was filming and editing, is I would enjoy making these edits so much because me and Mike would choose a song that reminded us of that memory, and we didn't care about the copyright, and would make an edit to our favourite song of the summer, and it just makes everything 10 times better.
I had a bit of that when I was in Mykonos. It's so true.
And there's like sometimes where I choose I choose to just have copyrighted music in my video because I don't care about getting paid. I'd rather just show people like, this is the music I listen to, this is the vibe, and it makes such a difference. It's so much more enjoyable. 75%
of my YouTube is copyright.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have that ability to tap into an emotion that they are going to feel when they watch it than...
Exactly.
YouTube pays shit anyway, so it's not as if I'm losing out on thousands.
But do you feel that, do you know, if you have an absolute love for Ibiza and the clubs here, or even the likes of the clubs and Printworks, do you feel like, oh, I wish my other friend would just come here and just get it the way I get it, and have one of those experiences with them? Because some of the most special friendship moments of my whole life have been lads' holiday to Magaluf, lads' holiday to Ibiza, boys' trip to Amsterdam.
Well, I'm lucky because me and Joel have the exact same music taste. We love kind music, we love black coffee, we love Afro house, and me and Joel just like the exact same style of music. So when me and Joel go, like you'll often hear in the videos when I'm recording our stuff, me and Joel, or like we already know what song's coming in, like, oh, have you heard what's coming in, have you heard what's coming in? And where it's like a game trying to beat each other. So me and Joel having that, it's literally, our music taste is exactly the same. And we bought that massive speaker, which you can't see in the corner. It's literally like a club speaker. And whenever one of us finds a new song, we'll turn it around towards the sea, so it don't wreck the whole neighbourhood. We'll turn it to face the sea and we'll just sit out there and play the song on repeat.
But do you think some of your friends that you grew up with, that you loved, they kind of grew old a bit too quick? and they give up on those lads' holidays and those group trips a bit too early.
Yeah,
100%.
My group like that at the moment. We all still socialise together, but there's like the group and then half the group that come here, which is cool.
Exactly.
And we took them here and it was, I think they didn't really enjoy it. When there's a divide as well, it's just, we went to a Schweier at Ants and it's like, I'm going home, I'm thinking, you probably come to the wrong place if you're going home.
Yeah.
Which is fine, like each to their own, do you know what I mean? It's not a bad thing, we're still fucking best mates with all of them, but when there's that divide in the group and you're out here, it's a bit, because I feel like guilty.
So do I. I feel like, I don't know why it is, but I'm always responsible. Like, I'm the one inviting, right, we're going here, organising everything. So whenever someone isn't having a good time, I feel the same. I feel responsible. I feel, I'm sad that you didn't enjoy that. But then last year we had such a good crew of everyone that all liked the same thing. So like Thursday boho, Friday black coffee, Saturday blue marlin, and like we just knew that we'd go there and have a really good time, and everyone liked the same stuff. But my friends from home, I love them all still, but literally nearly every single one of them has a baby now, or is on the verge of getting married, and like, I can't come to Ibiza because I can't get time off work, or I can't afford to come, and I'm just like, there's still memories to be made.
Of course, how old are you?
I'm just about to turn 30.
Same
as you.
And do you find that like at home, in my hometown, I feel like 30 is old, and then once I got to Berlin, Paris, Ibiza, 30 is young.
It's peak. Well, I'm lucky because with Mike and stuff, Mike, Joss, all of them guys, they were always slightly older. Like Mike's 33 or something, so I always felt a little bit younger. But then my other friends, Joel, Jake, they're all 24. So, but in Ibiza, I always tell everyone, I've got Christoph, who's like 40 or 41. Age does not matter at all. No one even asks you the question, how old are you? Like, it just doesn't matter. Everyone is just here for a good time. You go to the dance floor and there's people 50, 60 on the dance floor having as good of a time as anyone else.
Do you not feel pressure the older we get at the moment now?
Not
like in the back? No, really? That's interesting. There's nothing in the back of your mind like pensions and investments and stuff like that?
And Peter Pan syndrome where you're like, okay, maybe I should.
No. I literally, the way my life always seems to work is I just do something until it's out of my system.
Yeah, I understand.
And Ibiza isn't quite out of my system yet. I hope that it does leave my system and that I don't get stranded here.
No.
Because there's so many people, when you go out and you know someone who's lost to the island,
you
can just spot them from, if you're sitting in the old town having a coffee, you know who's walking past and who is lost.
Yeah, it's so true.
It's very common in Berlin as well. It's a very common thing that people end up just in a time warp and they get stuck there and a decade passes them by, they're just there too long.
And I mean, it's fine, it's good to be happy and it's good to have kind of no responsibilities, but it's also a little bit sad at the same time. It's nice to...
You have to know when to leave the party.
Exactly.
But I feel like I'm getting better at that the older I get. Like now I have more responsibilities and I can kind of, if I'm going out on Friday and then Saturday will be my day in, do you know what I mean? Like I'm getting a bit better at that.
My problem is just people text me, oh, come on. Well, the problem that happened last year is by the end of summer, we knew everyone everywhere. We had made good connections with everyone. And so it was, oh, come on, you can come VIP. And if you go VIP, if you go in the DJ booth, like we were lucky to meet certain people and it's unlimited free drinks. So you can go to high, you can wake up at 12 o'clock, you can go to high at 1 and stay there till 7 in the morning and not spend a penny. Which was like, and listen to Black Coffee, who's my favourite DJ ever, every single week. And I was like, why would I not do that?
How did you meet him? How did you go about meeting him?
So, it's actually a good story. Do you want to hear the story?
Absolutely.
100%.
Okay, so basically, I went to Black Coffee literally almost every single Saturday. Joel kind of got just, I can't go again. So me and Joel were shooting a villa and I was super excited. I was like, I'm going to go to Black Coffee by myself. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, I need to go. And then there was these girls who are our friends, Sophie and stuff. They're all from England, but they kind of stay on the San Antonio side. And Sophie loves Black Coffee as well, and she was like, oh, do you want to come with us? And I was like, okay, I'll go for the girls. So I went with 3 girls to Black Coffee, and then we somehow got onto a table, a VIP table. Obviously the girls got on a table, classic. And then I introduced myself, and obviously because I'm just a sound Geordie, I got along with everyone. So literally smash. Whenever I get to a place where it's free drinks, it's literally just smash. If I don't have to pay, I'll just smash. And the guys were like, oh, we're never going to drink like them 30 beers, we're drinking vodka, and I was like, alright, okay, I'll deal with that. Then I actually went to be sick in the toilet, so I was sick in the toilet, came back, and then Sophie was like, oh, should we go try and get in the VIP? She was like, the manager of Black Coffee, I saw him in the shop and I kind of spoke to him the other day, and I was like, right, okay, fuck it, let's go and do it. So when she waved at him, he's called China, and I actually started working with him in the end, and he was like, oh yeah, come in, and he was like, but like, who's this guy? Me. So he was like, oh, it's my brother, and he was like, oh, okay, both of you come in. So anyway, I literally got in there, and Sophie didn't even have a chance to speak to this guy, China. I just started melting his head. I love Black Coffee so much, this is the best ever. I'm so happy. And he was like, oh, do you want a drink? Here, have a beer. And I was like, oh, where are you getting that from? There was like a little table for like the staff and the DJ and everyone, just unlimited drinks. And he was like, oh, there you go, have as many as you want. And then I was like, fuck, this is literally the best ever. Then I saw this girl far side of the backstage, turned out to be Cindy. And I was like, oh, do you know who that girl is? He was like, oh, it's Cindy. Go and say hello to her. So then went and said hello to Cindy. And then after that, spent every day with Cindy. And then me and Cindy would go every single Saturday, just me and Cindy, to backstage Black Coffee.
Isn't there a picture of you've taken a video and she's in the back?
Yeah, and that's, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So in Tulum,
crazy.
Cindy was backstage at Black Coffee, and I'm videoing Black Coffee, the whole thing.
That's mental.
And I was like showing Cindy the videos one day, and she was like, that's me.
That's mental. Stuff like that blows my mind.
So, yeah. And then just made connections with everyone, and then I started doing like, helping the DJs make like reels. So I'd go take a few reels, edit them so they can post them on their stories. I met friends with Tamba, did a full video for him at Chinois, and just kind of went for lunches, went for dinners, and just kind of networked and got along with everyone.
Amazing.
And most of the stuff I did for free, because when you pay for a ticket in a high, which is €8, and then you pay for a beer, which is €20, you're spending crazy amounts of money, and they were all just letting me do all this for free. So I was like, the least I can do is, I don't like taking anything from anyone, unless I can give something back. So I just kind of helped out with videos and stuff. And
amazing.
But there is no shortage, especially in places like here, of people who are willing to take without giving back.
Is there a big content creation community over here
though? So Ushuaia and High have their own guys.
Right.
It's like 4 or 5 guys, and they are literally just the best of the best.
Really?
They'll be posting videos of Ushuaia, like sick edits whilst it's on.
Yeah.
They go in, get like 10 shots, go into the backstage, edit it all, put it out. And it's just constant, and it's like 5 guys, they're all Spanish. I've spoke to a few of them, and they're literally just little machines, just literally, and it's the highest quality content ever. But other than that, it's a problem in Ibiza, videographers and stuff, because everyone goes and parties and everyone's unreliable.
Sure, so, of course. Amazing.
So I just have another, it was interesting you said about your father being a DJ, because my mate who I was talking about, his father was a DJ, and I remember him starting to become a DJ. When did you realise that, like, the difference between a good DJ and an average one? I remember I worked in a small pub, and there was this DJ called Screech in my hometown, and my sister used to run the pub, and anytime he couldn't show up, he'd get someone else to cover, but she'd be like, oh, no, he's not here. And the difference in holding on to a crowd and the vibe in the place, even in a small pub, he had the pub in the palm of his hands with the tracks he picked. When did you realise that, I suppose, there's a huge difference between a great DJ and just a good one?
I reckon when I came here.
I was about to say the same thing. Because it blows you, because you get mind blown. So when I first came in 2018, I thought, oh, it's a totally different ball game of like music. And then you go home and then there's like some people on the underbit of like printwork, and you think, everyone's dancing, but this is fucking dreadful. Yeah. This is not good. Do you know what I mean?
Even at the high opening, when Black Coffee came on, the whole thing changed.
Transforms,
And it was all world-class DJs all night.
I haven't seen him yet.
But Black Coffee's just good at the way he changes the tempo. And there'll be times where you could literally have the music off for a minute, and then he'll slowly start to build again, and everyone's like just waiting. It could be like 15 minutes before he drops it in, and then when he drops it in, my favourite thing in the world is hearing the crowd scream. Nothing gives me goosebumps like it. Yeah. And also Marco Carolla is really good.
I love Carolla.
He has the crowd in the palm of his hand every time.
It's amazing when you see a DJ and they have that elements of just they can read the crowd in front. Like it sounds and it looks so simple, just playing tunes or whatever, but like the difference between a good one and a world class one is enormous in terms of how they make you feel and how much you enjoy the night. And especially here.
Definitely, that's the problem, and then you kind of become a little bit snobby. Like, for example, Joel won't go to another party now. Like, if we're in Ireland or if we're in London or wherever we're like, I'm not going, waste of time. Because he just knows it's never going to compare to him.
That's fair enough though. Once the bar has been raised, you can do that. You can get away with it.
Exactly. So
just we'll move on a little bit. I've a random question. I used to be a history and English teacher for a year, and I'm a bit obsessed with World War II. But your grandfather, Tommy, I remember you saying that he had a big influence on you, or that you were compared to him a lot growing up, as in he was kind of an outlier in your family, as were you. Yeah. And he landed on the beaches in Normandy, is that true?
Normandy, yeah, I think it was Star Beach. So he was one of the first waves, literally. So that's good, because anytime you feel like you're facing adversity or you don't want to do something, it's very easy to like be a cop out. But then when you have that in the back of your mind, it's like, no, your granddad literally stormed the beaches of Normandy. That could have been it. Yeah. Couldn't have had my dad. Couldn't have had me. Yeah. And you just fucking go, well. And it was weird because it was like a split between my granddad and my mum's side, who was just like anti-war, didn't go to war, but he was in the ambulance and he was in the lifeguard. So he was like literally sieving dead bodies out. And then you've got this comparison on my dad's side, and my dad always says, and my uncle, like, you are Tony, like you're. I used to get into fights all the time when I was a kid, and I stopped that thankfully, because in London the whole fucking knife crime game is just there's absolutely no point. Like, but when I was growing up, I thought a good night out was having a fight, which is just such an immature mindset to have. But then when I relate that back to my dad, he was like, yeah, that was my dad.
It's common where I'm from as well. Like,
yeah.
There was an interview on the Rich Roll podcast with an Irish guy who's met in Hollywood, and he said after nightclubs in Ireland, after pubs outside Chippers, it was like live action movies. It literally was. Like, people going through windows on top of cars,
everything.
That's the maddest stuff.
We used to have a club called Venue in New Cross. It's closed down now. It was like 5 or 6 floors, and then every time that finished, there was always like, right, it was who are you fighting?
Exactly.
Which is just fucking, because now I'm against it. I hate it. I hate confrontation. I hate fighting.
So do I. I hate.
I was just on the beaches in Normandy 2 weeks ago.
Amazing.
I visited the museum and that, because I'm a bit obsessed with D-Day, the million people landing in 3 days.
Yeah.
But to hear that you had someone actually related, how did that make you feel in terms of like, did you feel it was in your blood to kind of take on the world because of that? Yeah, enormous
sense of pride. And like you said, it's everything I do with them in the back of my mind, and also deep rooted connection to like where I grew up in Lewisham as well. And I feel like not a lot of people in my area at all had any opportunities, like zero. If I could look back at my primary school now and look at my best mates, they're still in Forest Hill and they're still lifeguard, and so it's like an enormous sense of like pride, and I've got to kind of stand up for my whole community here and things like that. So
that's nice. I love that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Because I'm often compared to my grandmother. She sailed around Cape of Good Hope and into the Indian Ocean. She was from the west of Ireland, which is like as rural as it gets. And they often say, I have that in my blood. And you almost feel like you have to live up to it.
Yeah,
of course. When you hear, you're like this, you feel like, what's they doing? I have to do it now.
Yeah. And I totally understand that, because I was aware that I don't think he had, not that he didn't have any emotion, but when you hear that, you think, well, I'm not supposed to have any emotion. But then you run into issues whereby you allow your emotion to be subdued, and then it's just fucking terrible. The older you get, the more you do that, it just hit that wall, and it's horrible. It's fucking horrible.
I think that's one thing as well. Have you met George Armstrong?
No, not yet, no.
It's one thing, like last year I think all of us had like a real good bond as like brothers. Sadly, George's little brother committed suicide, and we were all here together, like having the best time of our lives, and then that happened, and it was like we just couldn't imagine anything like that ever happening, and George just didn't expect it at all either. And then like we were here just having the best time of our lives, and then we all kind of just came together, and like all the boys, and we just all became far more like open emotionally, and just talk about everything. Like there would be days when George was going through a hard time where we'd just go to the beach and just talk for hours and hours on end. And I think for all of us, it made us completely different people. It made us so much more open and easy. And now I kind of, whenever I'm speaking to someone and I can see that someone's kind of holding stuff in, I'm like, oh, I wish I could get into them and try and help them let go of it. And I think George now, he's obviously an online coach, but I think he is kind of going more deeper into like psychology because he wants to help people just get it out of their system and talk, because I think so many people don't realise holding stuff in, it just builds and builds and builds, and you have to it's easy just to talk and get stuff off your chest.
Yeah, you notice that the older you get, like I'm far more empathetic now.
Exactly.
Massively, which is one of my biggest downfalls, I think, in my previous relationship, that I wasn't. And then now, and you see it because I'm an online coach as well, so I'll have like female coaches and male coaches, and I'll be doing my check-in, and all of a sudden it's like 12 minutes. I'm like, oh fucking hell, it's more than just food adjustments and fucking training, So
But I've noticed that about the two of you, like you were in long-term relationships and you broke up, and you talk very openly about them and very positively about your exes, which is very mature. I remember I went through a breakup at 22, and literally I didn't speak to anyone about it. Really hard breakup. And one of my best mates, Ryan, and the older I get, the more I appreciate what he did. He just said, look, you have to talk to someone about it. And I still didn't talk to anyone about it until 2.5 years after the breakup, like 0 words, 0 conversations. And I think back then, I thought I was being strong by not saying anything to anyone. When it was actually really weak, because it was like pure ego. But when you look at nowadays, like I wish people listened to that advice more, to open up, because it's so difficult.
Well, I think that you're saying about pride and being strong, and I think too many people worry or too concerned about having a sense of pride and being strong. Like, I have my pride because I know I'm a good person, and I know that I help other people, and I know I want the best for other people. But I think to act strong and act cold, I think doesn't really get you anywhere, and doesn't allow you to kind of communicate and develop new relationships with people. So,
but it can be very helpful. It's a double-edged sword, but it can be extremely helpful building a business or getting in shape.
That's true.
Or doing a marathon.
That's true.
We broke up, and I had my last ever bodyboarding show, and then I won it. So I was like, how much of that just complete dark mode, hour and a half on the Stairmaster? I look back at that now, because I do 40 minutes on Stairmaster now, and think, how the fuck are they doing that? Like full football game.
Yeah.
But it was just like monotonous, wake up like a fucking robot, which was good in the sense they got the job done, but then it prolonged me actually like being exposed and going through it. So it's like we broke up in February, but it only hit me until July. And then I went to Marbella and then started speaking to, do you know what I mean? And then it was just like, fuck, I actually need to just stop, put the brakes on for 1 second and go, I've been in a relationship for 9 years, let me think about it, where's this going? Understood it, probably one of the worst decisions I've made, tried to get back, didn't quite work. It was like, right, now it's over, now we've got to assess it. So sometimes it takes you almost, like you said, a year, 2 years to actually go, right.
But externally, you're being rewarded and admired for doing the bodybuilding show, running the marathon, being successful in the business, but internally it comes at a cost.
Definitely does. I didn't say you were in a relationship for 9 years as well.
Yeah, 9 years. Yeah, I met her in like 2011, 2012, and then I mean, you look back at it, it's like almost a third of your life with that person.
Yeah, exactly the same as me.
It's so tough to distinguish between, am I over this person, or yes, it's fine, I'm over this person, and I can just look back on that, and that's a positive. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, be happy that it happened, and not be sad that it's over. Sort of thing.
What's the relationship like now? Nothing. See, I always say that I'm so lucky with my ex because we're still friends.
Wow. And
like, the thing is, she's such a good person that even though it was my mistake, I just kind of ran away and was just scared of maybe settling down, getting married, having a baby, the pressures of adult life, and I just felt like I wasn't ready.
To finish on that point, like, hindsight is 20/20, and you have the advantage of hindsight now. So do I, and I'm just after going through a really tough breakup as well. Do you have a 2-3 sentence bit of advice for someone going through a breakup? Because personally, I'm just asking the question for a younger version of myself.
Of course.
That I wish I dealt with breakups better.
Don't regret it, because it's very cliche, isn't it? Because when you say everything does happen for a reason, but there's something that instigated that feeling, there's something that instigated your head being turned, there's something that instigated thinking that the grass is greener even though it's not. So you have to almost get on with it, really. You just have to go, something's happened and I need to assess this part of my life and go through with it, which is absolutely fine. I think people do grow apart, and I don't think anyone should ever be made out to be the bad person in a relationship when it does end. Like, it's just, it happened. One of my closest mates has gone through the same thing, but they've been together for, like 12 years. But so much happens during that time. Like, I had a question on my Instagram Q&A, any advice for someone in terms of dating in your 20s, and I was like, just don't do it. Because you change so much as a person in your 20s. I just think you could meet someone and fall in love and settle down, and then by the time you're 26, 28, 30, completely different taste in music. Like, my whole life was different.
Completely different, yeah.
Completely different.
The only thing is, for me, is my ex definitely helped me change my personality and everything. I became empathetic, I became more caring, I became more loving, I became more affectionate, I became closer with my mum, my grandma, I built a better relationship with everyone because she taught me how to be like that.
So, same as me.
So like, if I didn't have that, I don't know who I would be.
Yeah,
so I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah.
And now I can bring that into my new relationship.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it tougher, is like there's a toxic relationship where you're becoming less of yourself, and then there's like a productive or healthy relationship where both of you are growing as people.
Exactly, and pushing each other.
That's what's so confusing. They're nearly both as hard.
Do you not feel guilty though, when you've gone for a breakup and you've learnt all these things and you've developed and grown as a man, and then you have an opportunity almost to give, like, I felt really guilty because I learnt all these things and I couldn't give it back to her. And I almost felt guilty when I started speaking to someone new. I was like, these feelings of me acting this way shouldn't be for her, it should be for her. That's what I struggled with the most.
It's true, I definitely feel that, yeah, 100%. That's probably the worst thing for me. And like, but I know that if Frances, I know if Frances was to see me now, should be proud of the way that I behave. Yeah. And like, she knows that she had as much of a role in my life as anyone ever has to building me to be the person that I am today. So I can honestly thank her for most of it. Yeah.
So I'll ask a different, change gears a little bit. So Louis, the Creator Club, I absolutely love it. It's been life changing for me. I earn more money, I feel more confident, my content is better. Just, there's a lot of things I can link back to it. One of the phrases you bring up a lot, done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
You feel very strongly about it. I'd say you say that nearly every single
What's the phrase?
Done is better than perfect.
I struggle with that.
Yeah,
I struggle with it big time as well. That's why it's so good, is because so many people could relate to that phrase. What does it mean though for you if you were to define it?
So, this is so funny because I can't wait to hear his opinion on it. Yeah. Because the other day when we were talking, don't know how many of you have seen Tommy's content, but it's just so perfect. Like, so perfect. And I think that's the unique selling point, is the attention to detail and all that stuff, and that's what I enjoy so much. And maybe because I don't have as much attention to detail, and because I have the other way of thinking, that's why I appreciate what you do even more. But so done is better than perfect comes from Casey Neistat. Casey Neistat did a vlog every day for I think around 2.5 years, and it got to the point where he didn't have time to get the shot perfect, to get the horizon level, to get the same shot over and over again. There'll be times when I'm filming and I'll say the same thing 10 times till I get it exactly perfect. Yeah. But in some cases, it's actually better just to get it done and post it, and then a new one tomorrow. In the case of Casey Neistat, where he had to post every single day. And there's times where I've filmed something and I've been like, oh, I know I could have done better. Like, that shot wasn't good, I could have said this better. But then it gets to the point where if I'm going to hopefully add value to someone's life through my content, or they're going to learn something from me, or they're going to have an experience, whether it's visually or whatever it is, through my content, then I know it's going to affect people in a positive way. So it's actually better just to put it out than to delete it and refilm the whole thing again. And I think in my case, I like just posting content consistently rather than spending like weeks and months, like getting the perfect edit. Like when I first learned how to edit videos, I used to learn how to color grade. I used to learn how to do all these effects, speed ramp, all of these different things. And I used to spend hours upon hours of my time learning how to do these things. But then what I realized is people then, they love the visuals and they love the effects in my content. But then what I actually wanted to start as I got older is I wanted people just kind of to like my content because they liked my personality and like what my lifestyle and like what I'm trying to teach people. So for me, there's so many times where I think about stuff for too long and then I don't end up doing it, or I'm just put off by it. So for me now, I would just go with done is better than perfect. Like today I filmed the whole video and I woke up and I was like, I can't be bothered to carry that camera and the tripod around with me all day. But who cares if it's perfect? I'll put the settings in automatic and just hope for the best.
Yeah.
Whereas I tried to film this podcast in automatic, but Big Tommy had to set everything in manual, get it set perfectly. And I think there's no right or wrong way of doing this at all, creatively. But I definitely admire his way of doing it, but then I also definitely admire people like Casey Neistat who can just bang stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could do that. And I try. But then in terms of like content creation, I suppose that my showing up every day would be Instagram stories or something.
Exactly.
So I mean, I post religion. There's not a single day, if you go through my whole archives in the last however many years, that I've not shown up on some form of platform. So when it comes down to actual pieces of content like a reel, it just has to be perfect.
But where's the line between like perfectionism and actually being consistent and posting consistently?
Great question. I mean, I can't stand all these like gurus, content creator gurus that say in order for you to succeed, you've got to post 3 times per week. I don't.
3 TikToks a
day. Yeah, I don't conform to any of that.
No.
Like I post when I want, and you know, I've got to where I am today. Fucking 10 years in the game, we're here now. One of the best islands in the world. Like without me conforming to someone telling me what to do.
That's the same as me. I think I post whenever I want as well. And there was a time where when I worked for Mike, we had to post every Tuesday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And it kind of Mike stopped enjoying the process.
Of course.
Because he had so much pressure. Oh, I don't have an idea for Tuesday's video, what I want to do, and then would make up some kind of bullshit idea for Tuesday's video, and then it wouldn't do well, and he'd be unhappy with it. And I think for me, I always say this in the Creator Club as well, is when I post a video, and I do this, I have 2 examples. When I post a video and I've edited it and I watch it back and I'm happy with it, if I'm happy with it, I'm gonna post it.
Yeah.
There's other times when I post stuff because, for example, this is just ridiculous, but in lockdown I was kind of running out of ideas what to do, so I did a beard trimming tutorial, just made up how to trim your beard. But it's my only video that's nearly got 1 million views. But I didn't love the video when I posted it. I was just hoping that it was going to do well. But for me, it kind of, like, for example, I filmed it, I'm going to post a video tonight, which is how to get good at running as a beginner. I don't love the video, but I know that there's going to be some helpful information there for people. But for me, my favorite type of video ever is like a day in the life in Ibiza, a vlog, like morning routine, lunch, gym, whatever, all the boys together. I like having other people in my content because I like that's what I love. And then doing what I love on a daily basis, filming it, getting all the shots, capturing the moments that are more candid, just filming everything and getting the candid moments, and then sharing that and being able to look back on that in 3 or 4 years' time and be like, oh, look, remember that day, it was the best day ever. So for me, if I enjoy the video, whether it's perfect or not, if I enjoy it and I feel happy with it, then I'm good to post it. And I honestly don't care how many views stuff gets.
But it is so common for people to just be halfway through videoing it or have all the content filmed and just be like, no, I'm not posting it.
Yeah.
It's not perfect.
And like, there's times where the good thing is I learned all of this stuff through me and Mike, of 2 years me and Mike filming together, where we had this video plan, then we'll go in the gym, and then halfway through the session someone comes and tells us, oh, you're not allowed to film in the gym, but we've already filmed half of it and we don't know what to do, and then we have to go and film the other half in the gym, and then Mike's like, oh, it's inconsistent, I don't like that. The lighting's different, I don't have a pump, you know, all of these things that used to affect. So I kind of learned all the lessons through me and Mike. And like, for example, if your microphone isn't on, like there's all these little things that can go wrong. So for me, if you can get a video out and you have it as a final project, you watch through it and you're happy with it, just post it. Don't think about whether it's going to get 1 million views or what other people are going to think of it. If you're happy with it, it's a memory for you on YouTube to come back and look on in 10 years.
Yeah, of course.
So
I think the whole environment of content creation has changed massively now because everyone's striving for viral content, and then what they lose out on is the depth of like that individual. So if you're a solo brand, if you're a single brand, and you're just constantly doing like, say that running video you did, the amount of people that I see, and I've seen them become almost fall prey to the algorithm. Like I've seen their content was really good, yeah, might have not got so many views, but it was a great chance to get that person. And now it's just like SEO. But then viral content is good, but then when you come...
Sorry, what's SEO?
Search engine optimization.
Yeah.
So what people are typing, what's trending, what are people looking for?
Yeah, which is all good, but when you come to release a product, they also get frantic, like, why haven't I made any sales? It's like I've done, say someone made a few viral pieces of content, got 1 million views, X amount of subscribers. They think, right, when I come to now release an ebook or something, they go, why haven't I got any sales? Because no one understands who you are. Whereas like I've been doing this for 10 years now, I know my audience very well. When I come to do like the Ibiza Classic Transformation Challenge or sell out, t-shirt, sell out. Because I know them, they know me. Like it's like a fucking family.
I think that's, for me, that's more important than
Most
anything.
important.
My Instagram hasn't grown at all for probably 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I like it's been 85k, 84.9k, and I don't care. Like I have my audience who like my content, who message me every day, who I love. Like I use Ghost. I only work with brands that I actually love. I only promote stuff that I love, and I only work with a handful of brands, and I have done for the last 3 or 4 years. I'm never ever trying to sell anything that I don't have an understanding of, or that's out of my depth, or that I don't believe in. So people trust me, and I make more sales. Like obviously I have my manager Ranbir, who manages 40 different people, all different influencers with all different numbers of followers. And he says, Louis, you make the most consistent sales, which to me is because I engage with my audience similar to you. You post stories every single day, and you react with people, you talk to people, you let them into your life.
But just on a personal opinion on you, is you're unbelievably relatable for an influencer. Because like you'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go monk mode and do no parties, nothing for 30 days. 7 day in full send. And everyone can relate to that. Everyone has been on that mission where it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to start today, everything's going to go. But like, you wouldn't even try and cover it up.
Yeah, exactly.
You just say, oh, fuck it. I fucked it last night.
Yeah, like, oh.
And that's what makes people trust you more and more.
Because I'm honest, like, I'm obviously annoyed that I haven't done it, but at the same time, a good opportunity came along to get fucked up or have some fun, so I'm just going to take it.
Yeah.
But of course, I would love to be able to have the discipline and do monk mode, and like Rob Lipsett's competing in 3 or 4 days, and he's literally just being like dialed in. Amazing. You've been dialed in so many times before. I'm sure you have too with the marathon. But like for me, it's definitely a weakness and a positive. My discipline levels are just not the best.
It's a huge positive when people can relate to you. With like monk mode and like just ultimate discipline, and God, that guy never takes a day off. He's just unbelievably consistent. People can't relate to that.
No, of course not.
And it's fake a lot of the time, because I know even when I was in monk mode for bodybuilding shows or whatever, like you still have the day where you eat fucking 6,000 calories, and you don't show that on social media, and you're less relatable because of it. And people trust you less because of it. But when you're doing what you're doing, it just makes you so relatable.
I just find it very, very difficult to hide the truth from anyone. I always have done. Even as a kid, if I like did something bad, for example, like kicked a football through someone's window, I wouldn't be able to run away. I would just have to go knock on the door and just be like, look, that was me.
Yeah.
And like, just if I got told off in school, or I knew the teacher was going to call my mum, I'd like have to quickly run home and tell my mum, like, look, the teacher's going to ring you because I've been naughty. It's like it's just I can't hide anything.
But Tommy, very similar question to you. I think like TMCycles, the name, it's almost an act of rebellion against all the fake natties.
Exactly,
it's
and I love that so much.
From day one, it was like, this guy is the opposite of all them. He's more relatable because at least he's being honest about it. Do you have any tips for someone like me who's at the start of the content creation journey, to use that fucking term? like to be more relatable or to get more of a connection with your audience?
Yeah, I mean, you'll often get an answer from people that will then force you into being forceful in relatability. Like I see it, you must see it nowadays. So many people try so hard to. It's almost like you can watch someone on Instagram now and you can almost tick the buzzwords that they're saying just to be relatable. So I know that you don't mean that. You're just saying that because you know the sort of response that it will get.
It's like the anxiety card.
Yeah, it's so true, and it's a really sensitive subject because we should be absolutely so open about talking about men's mental health and mental health in general.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've been in the game so long now, I can pinpoint people going, well, you haven't got social anxiety because you're doing vlogs outside, so you haven't got that. You're just saying that because that's a buzzword, that's a tick. You can cover that. So
sympathy vote or sympathy like.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and you are gonna, whatever content you create or whatever lifestyle you have, you are gonna have people that admire that and also have that similar. So there should be no, I don't think there should be any advice to be given. It should just be pick up the camera and start creating content because someone out there is gonna relate, and then that person will go, have you seen? And that's how we just fucking snowballed. Have you seen Tom? Have you seen Louis? Boom, 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 boom. Goes to schools. It goes everywhere. So I honestly don't really have a piece of advice for people other than just
share it as real as possible.
Absolutely.
But say their question's very based around someone who wants to start creating content or create content too. If someone hasn't a clue of all the amount of work that goes into this, I've tried to do some influencing, whether it was like creating YouTube videos, making a little documentary, Instagram posts, Instagram reels, talk on stories. I've done it all, but I tried to do it part-time, like at the end of the day, after the gym, but it's impossible. You're never going to gain momentum or create enough content when it's the last thing on the to-do list. What does a really good, productive day for someone who's built a following like you, what does that look like?
I play devil's advocate and say there is time now, because I built my YouTube on a full-time job. I worked 7 days a week. I had GNC, supplement shop, and I was a videographer for another company. So all of my YouTube and content creation is done out of hours.
Side hustle.
Yeah, 100%.
So is mine.
Yeah, and then what you start to see is that side hustle starts doing that. And it inevitably gets to a point whereby you have to almost make a jump whereby you lose that financial safety net and go, I'm just gonna have to do it. Worst case scenario, I could go back to my old life and it's fine.
Exactly.
But let me make the jump and just do, and then take this financial hit, or in the back of my mind, I was putting money aside, so I had kind of like a 3-month layoff of like rent's paid. I've got enough time, I've got enough leverage to do what I want to do. 9 times out of 10, how often do people do it and they make the jump and then they're in?
And then the opportunities start coming to you because you have been working hard, and you almost can't believe what I'm actually getting this opportunity. Like I can't believe it, and you think, why do I deserve this? But actually, you've been doing it 2 or 3 years. You've been making videos every day. You've been watching YouTube tutorials on how to get better. You've been upgrading your camera gear. You've been doing everything you possibly can. So these opportunities don't come for no reason. You don't get lucky. They come to you because you deserve it. Because eventually, after all your hard work, someone wants you to help them. Someone believes in you, and they know that you can create something amazing for them and provide something for them. But I think with people who want to be content creators, I think I would never say I'm an influencer. I'd say I'm a content creator.
I say that all the time.
Yeah, and I think the most important why.
Why?
Because I love having my camera.
No, but why not an influencer and why a content creator? What's the difference between?
Because I just live my life how I like it. And if I realise that something makes me feel good or it has a positive impact on my life, then I want to share it. The same way as if I realise I'm doing something that's maybe a bad habit, it's having a negative influence on my life, I also want to share that. So like, I always thought the easiest way, if you don't know how to start a YouTube channel or you don't know how to start with content creation, is document everything that you do on a daily basis. And then if you have an interest in something and you've never done it before and you've always wanted to do it, then document your process. So for example, when I started running, that's what kind of got me all my sponsorships with Gymshark and everything like that, is because I just was like, okay, I can't run, but I want to learn how to run. So I'm going to document my process from me not being able to run 1 kilometer without stopping to me being able to run however long I want. And I just bring the camera, you put it on a tripod, and you just have to think of it as a third person watching. Like your camera is your spectator, just go on with your life and talk to it like as if it's a friend. Tell them what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. Share everything you can with it. You can go back and cut out if you're maybe talking too much or you're too much into it. You're chatting shit, which sometimes I do a lot. Like I literally sometimes chat shit to that camera for like half an hour and I'll be like, fuck, I'm not.
That's why you should have a podcast.
Yeah.
Shit talk all the fucking.
I can shit talk so much, but again, I think influencers want to influence people to do certain things or buy certain products, and they're not actually interested in the process of creating a piece of content that's going to impact people. Whereas, for example, Cindy had never seen any of your content before, and I showed her the reel. I've showed her both reels, one the chicken burger, and then the second you cooking the shrimps and the pasta in the old town on the bike. And Cindy was like, I want to do that. I want to do the same. Yeah. And I was like, that's you're influencing Cindy to want to be a content creator
and to live as well.
Exactly. But like you're not pushing anything on anyone. You're not telling anyone go to the gym. You're not telling anyone you should learn to cook. You're not telling that. You're just showing your life and the enjoyable moments in your life, and then you're inspiring people to do something enjoyable with their own life.
Of course.
And share it.
Okay. But same question to you, Sam. What's the difference between an influencer and a content creator?
Well, the stigma attached to an influencer when you're out, as an example.
It's like free restaurants.
Yeah, it's just, and there's no point me saying influence and then describing what I do. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather say I'm a content creator, and then that sparks. So what does that do? And I go, well, I document my life, and I try and provide value and also depth and emotion at the same time and things like that. So I think it's just a better talking point. I don't want influencers, to a lot of people who don't know what it is, just sounds like, oh, your job is you are being paid to sell a product.
Exactly.
And I mean, I've worked with probably 3 or 4 brands in my whole 10 years. And all those brands I used to buy from before.
Yes.
You know, whatever the brand is, I used to pay my own money, and they used to say, stop spending money. What do you want? And I go, honestly, I'm quite happy to give to the cause because it's. I respect you as a brand.
But a day of work as a content creator. So when the camera is turned off and you're a content creator and you're not videoing yourself, which I find personally the easy part is videoing it. Like the hard part is the thumbnail, the caption, the moving from camera to a laptop to a phone. The amount of work and effort and hours that it took me to learn all that stuff I have. My guy who used to work my gym, Dave, Kevin Jordan, Johnny Garvey, they spent so much. One of them actually moved in with me for a month, 2 months, to just show me all that stuff. And he was basically showing me how to move something from a laptop to how to delete render files so your whole MacBook isn't blown up.
So many little pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah. So many. But like, what does your average day look like as a content creator when the camera's turned off? How many hours?
You go first.
I'm an online coach as well, so my day's split. So I'll do all of my I'll do all my check-ins for my clients in the morning. So I wake up, do some form of fasted expenditure when my mind is involved in that. Then I'll eat, break the day up, and then I'll go to the gym. And the gym session is like the split between my client work and my content work. So I'd say it's a few hours in the morning, a few hours in the afternoon. But that's because we've, I think, nailed our setup. I've got a Mac upstairs, a laptop downstairs, the SD's in, boom, 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 boom. In my head, when I edit anyway, I've already chosen a track. So in my head, when I film, the timeline in Final Cut Pro is here anyway. So all it is a case of transferring, and I don't use effects, and I don't go too crazy on text and things like that. I try and keep it as clean and sharp as possible. So, and that just happens over the years, you know.
How many years did it take you to get that crisp in that execution of making and creating content?
I mean, I feel like I'm not there yet, though. Even though it may seem clear and crisp, I feel like I'm still understanding certain shot selection and certain. So it's like I feel like I'm just still going.
Well, I heard you mention before you were very inspired by films and movies and different shots and Scarface and things like that. That's the beautiful thing about content creation that a lot of people who have never picked up a camera don't realise is that there's a great artistic element that's a lot of fun trying to improve each photo or improve each video.
And I think that's also one of the most enjoyable things about it as well, is you never just get to a point where you're good enough. There's always something that you can do better.
So true.
Like every single day that I pick up my camera, I get slightly better with it.
Yeah.
Of course, in the beginning when I used to learn how to change the aperture and how to get smoother shots and how to do speed ramps and all, and I put the time into learning all those different styles of editing. Of course I was learning more then, but even now I pick up the camera, I'll watch your YouTube video, I'll watch someone else's, or I'll watch a film and I'll be like, oh, they got that shot from there and that's really interesting. Maybe I can try and incorporate that in one of my videos as well.
Yeah.
But how do you do all your client check-ins and stuff in the morning?
Yeah.
Do you find that your brain creatively works better in the afternoon rather than the morning? Because for me, I would never ever wake up and start editing. It's so difficult to me.
Yeah.
So I'll always do my emails and like kind of admin work first thing in the morning, and then my creativity comes more in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then I find myself I'm the best at editing at night.
Yes. Yeah. Same. So my creativity is later on, but I feel like my emotion is in the morning, which suits really nicely.
Some people are the opposite though. I'm the same.
Yeah.
Some people their brain is switched on in the morning, and at night time it's switched off, and you can't talk to them.
It's definitely hard to find the balance, because my hardest thing in the entire world is sitting in my apartment with that outside and being glued to the laptop, knowing that I have to edit something, and then knowing that let's get this done as fast as I can so that I can get out there and enjoy it. Which if I was maybe at home in the UK and it's raining outside, there's nothing to do, everyone's at work anyway, then I'm fine, just sat there, I'm content, editing, taking my time.
But then I'm content with that there. Like I'll go down to the old town and like that's for me. That's I'm sorted. Like I'll have my coffee and I'll have my laptop and I'll start editing. But I'll know that I've set myself a time limit and I'll stop editing by 1 p.m. and then I've got the rest of the day to enjoy it.
That's good.
But sometimes when you're against the clock, do you feel like you're rushing it, or do you feel like it's?
You know what? I've got to a point whereby that never happens anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. I reverse engineer from when I want to release a product or when and it's been regimented to the T, which is a downfall in itself sometimes, but you know.
But I think as well, all them other things that you're talking about, creating space on your laptop, emptying SD cards, organising folders, organising hard drives, airdropping from laptop to phone, posting on Instagram, it's not good quality, what can I do? Maybe the song gets flagged. All of that stuff just comes with experience, and you just find your own workflow. Yeah. But it's extremely tedious, and if anything goes wrong, if you delete the wrong files by accident, especially if you're working for a client and something goes missing or a hard drive just like breaks, which happens as well. Like you're an artist, like your work can be destroyed so easily and it can be gone forever. So I think people just don't understand and appreciate what actually goes into it, especially when you've got a camera or 2 cameras or 3 cameras. It's very easy on your phone because not really much can go wrong with your phone. Your phone does everything for you. But even now we had to change the settings on both cameras because it wasn't manual and the sun's slowly setting and it got too dark. So we have to get up and change it and keep an eye on that, because if we didn't keep an eye on it, there'd be a point where we're literally sitting in the pitch black.
100%.
So
that's actually interesting that you said artist there, because if it's a good comparison. If you go into a museum, you see a painting, and you go on to the next painting, it's like someone on Instagram, they see a reel and they're flicking on to the next one, and you don't realise the artist has literally broke their heart trying to make this thing, you know. And
I think that's the kind of the sad thing about Instagram now is I literally don't even scroll for reels anymore, and I don't even bother. Like I love watching your reels, I love watching your reels, I love watching people who are doing something different, but there is nothing that I hate more than scrolling through Instagram reels and hearing the same song. They put a black dark edit over it, they have a nice car, like it's just the same again. And for me it's just like it gets you loads of followers, but I wouldn't enjoy making that content.
No, and there's been a recent rise in content creators that like will highlight and promote a certain song, like use this song, this is about to blow up.
It's heartbreaking.
And it's like, I don't know where I stand with that. I get it for the very early content creator, I think it's good.
I think you have to.
Yeah, but I think it needs to be pressed and pushed home that they need to start, find your own thing, find your own music that you enjoy, because...
The first night here I was at the Dalfila event for the IMS, and they played Blue Monday. It was unbelievable. Camel Fat played the last tune of the night, and I had to put it on the next reel. I was like, I don't care if this has 0% chance of going viral. I just have to pick a tune I like.
Of course.
It sounds like such a trivial thing, but it's massive when you're actually creating the content.
And there'll be times where I'm going through saving trending audio. Oh, it's only got 5k reels. Maybe if I use it, it'll blow up. then I go to make the reel of that, and I'm just like, that's not me. Like that is not me at all. I would rather use a Black Coffee song that no one's ever heard of, because that's me. That's my personality. It's my piece of art. It's my content. It's the thing that I've decided to create. So why should I just use trending audio? Like it's honestly ridiculous.
Or just use the music you go out. So if I go to We Are Festival and I film the set, that final shot will be of the set. So then the shots before will be the music. And then they go, oh my god, it's that track.
Yeah, that's it.
Which is like, I did that a couple of times, it was fucking cool.
So sick.
So just on branding and like your image, so with a good social media presence, like there's people associate a certain style from your clothes to the way you stand to the way you look, even to your music taste. And something like Mike Thurston is just the master of this. Like when you think of him, excuse me, you think of exact style. I think it's almost his time in Hollister, I think, influenced him on Brandon and how crisp he is at it. But the two of you have your own distinctive, when I think of the two of you, I think of a certain way of dressing, a certain way of looking. Do you think sometimes what's holding people back, and I think I'm guilty of this, is it's too random nearly. You're wearing too many outfits, trying too many different athletic pursuits, listening to too many different stuff. There's no actual theme. Whether someone who's very good at fashion or very good at fitness or very good at podcast, they have this one thing that they've nailed down and they just stick with that.
No, I don't think that's true.
No.
Because for example, honestly, I haven't bought new clothes since Tulum, and that was a year and a half ago, because I've been spending all my money here, having a good time on experiences, but I'm always so jealous of his nice outfits and his nice clothing. I love when he has his clothes set up on the clothesline and he's going to talk us through them. I literally love it, and you're so passionate about it, and I'm so jealous of the way he dresses. And I wish I could also do that, but I just don't have the same passion for that. Like, of course I could, rather than going out for a dinner that costs €100, I could go to Zara and get a whole new outfit. But, and for example, even Tommy cooking in the kitchen, he's doing fitness, he's doing everything. Like, if you're passionate about something, just share it. There's not I think it's different if you're swimming, climbing, hiking, jumping out of airplanes, running, going to the gym, and you're not doing any of it very well. Then it's not going to have an impact on people. They're going to be like, what's this guy doing? I think he's confused. But there's so many things that you can enjoy. Well, like, you've been traveling, you've been sharing.
For me at the start, I was conscious of it before I even started that I like making fashion reels. I like making a podcast and cutting up the reel of that. I like doing the travel stuff, and I'm a personal trainer, online coach by trade. It's like, I like all of those things, and I want to test the water with all of them, see what I enjoy doing, and then maybe, I'm still early days into it, 6 months into it, see what niche down afterwards.
Like, even you in Paris, going to all the best coffee shops, trying the best croissant, and the best, all of that stuff that I just enjoy watching.
That is such fucking great content. That's such great content.
You like this coffee shop because of this, and you like this coffee shop because of that, but you went to this one and the croissant was burnt or whatever. Like, that's you, that's your personality, and the reason I like it is because I can see that's what you like to it, that's what you enjoy doing. There's nothing for me that I enjoy more than talking to someone or watching someone do something they're passionate about. Just makes me feel happy.
So Tommy, related to that, will the real TMCycles please stand up? So you're a hard man to pin down. So you have the bodybuilding, the functional fitness, then you have a tougher working class background you named, but also well educated. You went to a good school later on. You said that opened up good opportunities for you. You're into fashion, which probably isn't a big thing from where you're from. You have a skill as a chef. You have conflicting but educated political opinions. Some on the right, some on the left. And finally, we're in fucking Boho the last night, Louis, and he just started speaking Spanish.
Really?
He just started speaking Spanish. It's like, who do you want to be remembered as, or what do you want to be seen as?
I don't honestly don't want to be seen as any. There's no category in which I want to fall in at all.
Yes.
I'm at a point in my life where one of my best mates made a really good point. about when I first started doing TMCycles, and he said, you didn't separate between the game and the life. Your life was the game, and now I understand that TMCycles is almost the game, and
that's a great quote.
What I portray in that, and you know, the thumbnails of girls' asses, and that's the game. It's like, but before I was like, this needs to be my life. Like, I have to have this girl. I've got to have no. So, and it takes time. You know, it takes time. Or it takes something to happen in your life for you to go, oh shit, that isn't reality. But I like being a bit of a comedian. And you talked about fashion as well. Like, one outfit will fall into a completely separate category to another outfit. There's no one style fits all or anything like that.
Yeah, of course. And like a video, you look back on and say, geez, I didn't like that video. Now looking back on it, it's the same with an outfit. You look back at an outfit and think, I do not like.
Can't believe I was wearing that.
Which I mean, it's a positive. We should look back at our old content and fucking cringe. Like, if you're not, then there's a problem. You know, if you've been doing this for 10 years and you look back at your first video and don't see anything wrong with it, then I think you need to hold the mirror up and go, maybe I need to. You know what I mean?
I think that's been my.
It's a similar case for you.
Yeah, my key to success is that I don't actually care. Like, for example, people like Mike and Rob and stuff have to be a little bit more careful with what they do because they have an influence on so many people.
But they're unbelievably consistent on a similar topic all the time.
I know, but they also have to be very careful with what they do. They don't have room for error. They can't make a mistake. They can easily be cancelled. Whereas I don't think I can be cancelled because I don't care. As long as I'm not directly hurting any individual's feelings or being bad to anyone, then I'll just do whatever I want. I'll do what makes me happy, as long as it's not detrimental to anyone else.
And as long as you've got a point to back it up.
Exactly. If you're strong and you feel passionate about it, then that's who you are. That's your blood. That's what you believe.
Yeah. Yeah, good.
So, one thing I've written here is, I'd say for both of you, things have worked out better than you ever imagined. Is that true?
I didn't know what, but potentially, yeah. But
because I would. A lot of people might not know how well things have worked out because they haven't a clue what influencers make, or what online coaching can be developed into if you do it properly, or certain brands collaborating. But it is like externally anyway. It's very lucrative. There's a lot of success in terms of financial rewards. Is it better than you imagined, the way things have turned out?
I couldn't. If you'd have told me 10 years ago when I was still at Lewisham College that you'd be in Ibiza with this view doing a podcast with Louis, I'd say, oh, fuck off. What are you talking about? So there was never at any point when I first started, there was never any goal. Like, I didn't in 2012 say, right, in 10 years time I've got to be doing this. So when we could, in 5 years time, we could be fucking united, and that's the beauty of it.
Living on that rock up there.
Honestly, we could, or on island, our own yacht, fucking. It just and that's what I love about it. Is the idea that there is no, I'm quite content just.
There's no form of measurement. Like you can't tick off. I've achieved this because we're not really aiming for anything. We're just. I think you're the same as me, just aiming to be happy.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is all that matters to me.
100%.
Like, of course, I would like to hit 100k subscribers at some point. And I would like to hit certain metrics, but I don't ever focus on it. No. And a lot of people are annoyed at me. Oh, if Louis didn't go to raves till 6 a.m, then his channel would be here. Yeah. But I don't care because I want to go to the rave until 6 a.m. in the morning. Like, it's fun. Like, I'm making this content for people for free. They get to enjoy it. They get to learn from it. They get to learn from my experiences, whether I make a mistake or whether I do something positive. They can learn from me. But if I want to go to a rave until 7 in the morning. And not grow my YouTube channel, like I'm still enjoying making my YouTube video. Maybe I filmed a YouTube video before I went to the rave at 6 in the morning. Yeah. Like for me, it's just about being happy. Like I don't have an end goal, or I don't have a set amount of money that I want to earn. It's never been like that. For me, it's just keep working hard, keep doing something that I love every single day, keep having a positive impact on as many people as you possibly can. And for me, being in Ibiza, this has been my favourite thing so far. Obviously went out 4 nights in a row, but just bumping into everyone in each club, bumped into you, bumped into all these random people who are like, oh Louis, we came here because of this, or I saw your video doing this. For me, that's just nothing can compare to that. That's the thing that makes me most happy.
And it's important not to feel guilty if you are watching this and thinking that you must have a plan. Like don't be like lured into thinking that you listen to X person and he says you've got to have this 5-10 year plan. It doesn't work for everyone.
No.
Does not work for everyone.
That's what where I am right now is when I ran the gym, it was brilliant because I only ever had to think of 6 months at a time and buying the next leg press or the next bit of dumbbells or the next. Whether now I've so many options in terms of what I can specialize in that I'm nearly just unsure of where the next thing is, you know.
But I think everyone has all of these options, but they have to first get out of their comfort zone.
Of course.
And they have to kind of go against everyone else and not just do the same stuff as everyone else. Like the Matrix, as they call it, is designed to keep everyone in the same place at the same time doing the same thing. But then if you're lucky enough to be able to think slightly different, maybe take a couple of risks and decide, you know what, if my mum's telling me to do this, I'm just not going to listen to her this time, and I'm just going to try it. And maybe she's going to be annoyed, maybe she's going to be worried, but eventually she'll see, well, look, he's actually happy. Look how happy he is. He couldn't be any happier.
Yeah.
If you have to take the risks to be able to escape all of that side of life.
Absolutely. So true.
So we might be running out of time a little bit, are we?
We'll have 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
Let me check the clock.
Yeah. I heard a brilliant quote and it stuck with me a long time ago. It was Nevada Ravikant, you know, he was like Yoda, and he said, if you're desiring something, if you want to achieve something, you're signing a contract to be unhappy until you get it. So where do you draw the line between, okay, I want to achieve more, I want to build my business, I want to build a creative club, or I want to build my online coaching community, or I want to build the next thing and the next thing. Where do you reconcile that with, okay, I'm happy with what I have enough, and I want to actually enjoy things here and now. I think, Lou, you have a great balance of that.
Definitely. It's very, very hard because basically what happened to me is I had everything that I had ever dreamed of without even realizing. Like, I don't really want too much in my life, but I had basically 2 main dreams, and I'm not materialistic. You never see me wearing designer clothes or anything like that. I don't have anything worth any money. Like, if anything, all my expensive stuff is my camera and my camera gear and my laptop. That's about it. I don't own anything expensive, but I love cars so much. I literally love cars more than anything. And I came here last year and we were renting a car from the airport, and it was like $1,000 a month, and I was like, Seat Leon's a good cause, but like $1,000 a month for a Seat Leon, like what the fuck are we doing? And then I was like looking online. I didn't really even know how, like, I always thought having a good car was just so far out of my league. Like, I didn't realize that I could afford a good car if I really wanted to. I just thought everything was unaffordable. I didn't think about finance deals or anything like that. And then started looking at my dream car, which was a Range Rover Velar, and I found one for X amount a month, not very much, I'll just say $600 a month. And I was like, I can get the dream car that I want for $400 less than I'm paying to drive a Seat Leon in Spain. And I was like, I'm just gonna go fly back now and get it. And I found the one that I wanted with the white interior, with the sunroof, all black, rose gold. It was literally, as I was looking, it came up the next day and it was the exact one I wanted. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go and get it. And then that wasn't my number one dream, was to live in Ibiza. Because I used to love Mallorca. It was my favorite place in the world. And then I came here and it had a bit of spicy, little extra bit of spice. And I was like, fuck, I want to live here so much. Like, when I enjoy something, there's probably a problem as well. When I enjoy something so much, I don't want to stop enjoying. But it comes, like, of course it comes in many different forms. Partying, which can be detrimental, but I also love running. And when I get on a running streak, I don't stop running. I run every single day. I have a very addictive personality. And so I realized that my 2 dreams was one, to live in Ibiza, and one, to have my favorite car, because I love cars. Not for anyone else. I don't care about what, like Cindy thinks it's crazy. I take a picture of my car every day if it's in a different spot, because I love it. Like, I love how that's my car and it makes me happy. But then the other one was to live in Ibiza, and then obviously I lived here with Joel and Jake last year. We shared the apartment between the 3 of us, and this year I've went up to myself, and I was like, it's going to be a struggle to afford this, but I'm just going to have to work harder, because this is my dream. This is what makes me happy, to wake up to the sunrise every morning, to step out my door, walk on the beach barefoot, like have everything at my disposal, live in the best location. All of you guys are out here meeting new people all the time. And that's the only two things I ever wanted in my life, and now I have them. But I had them without realising until the other day. Me and Cindy were on a walk, and we're talking about stuff, and I was like, look, I have everything that I really want. Maybe I'd like a little bit more money in the bank for security if anything goes wrong. For example, last year I broke my foot, didn't have travel insurance, so I had to get a credit card, and just because there was no way I was going to be able to afford for everything that went wrong. So of course, if I had a little bit more money in the bank to have the security, I would probably feel a little bit happier and a little bit more safe. But also, my personality is, if it's there, it's going to get spent. Because it's just the way I am. Like, I could literally die tomorrow. Who knows? I don't want to have money in the bank when I'm dead. But that's just my attitude. And for me, there isn't really anything now that would make me more happy. I'm happy. The only thing I miss my family a little bit, because I haven't seen them for like a year. But my mum and dad will be coming out this summer, and I love how I have just different friends flying in all the time. I love how I've met you. I love how I've met you, and that's what makes me happy. I don't need anything else.
Same to you, so.
In terms of
how do you reconcile the ambition to want more? I know you mentioned hilariously on another podcast how like when you did start making decent money, you used to go on Selfridges like nearly weekly.
Every weekend, yeah.
Literally, I had a small moment like that when my online coaching took off during COVID. I was working like 40 to 50 PT sessions a week, and I was doing the online coaching as well, which was bringing in maybe an extra €1,000 a week or a month on top of what I was earning. So after 6 months of doing that, with no distractions because of COVID, I blew out on a Versace watch, Balenciaga hoodie, and what was it? Gucci t-shirt. And once I did it, I was like, alright, I don't need to do that again. No. It wasn't as if, I want more, I want another one. Yeah. Once I did it, it was enough, and I don't think I'm ever going to spend that money on that type of materialistic thing again. But, back to the original question, where was that line for you in terms of, okay, I need to stop working now and just enjoy things a little bit more?
I mean, I think it went west when I started. I went to Mykonos with my partner at the time, and I was like, I need to get an airport picture. And in order for me to get an airport picture, I've got to have a Louis Vuitton bag. So then I paid for it, went to the Louis store in Selfridges. You sit down, they give you a glass of champagne.
It's a nice experience.
It's a lovely experience. I mean, you get what you pay, and the feeling you get when you walk in there and other people can see that you're buying an outrageously expensive bag. It for the ego is great, right? But then I remember getting the airport picture and thinking, well, I can't believe I've just done that. I've just, for the sake of for me to stand in Mykonos airport with a Louis bag. And that was the moment for me. But then it has like I bought my first Rolex. Like I wear that on my wrist now, and that's like a reminder of me working hard.
That's nice. I like that.
So I remember I first saw it in Tenerife when me and my ex were out there, and I remember looking at the price tag and seeing 12 grand and thinking, God, can you imagine dropping 12k on a piece of like on a watch? And the roller clock forward, I remember going, I want that Wimbledon dial Rolex, and then I bought it outright, and I thought, wow, that's a fucking like fair play. I bought it outright, and there was still, didn't feel like there was a chunk out the bank, so I thought, right. So it's hard between like material good and also being like an investment because it has like a meaning.
No, I think that's the main thing. If it has a meaning, that's what that.
And as long as you're not doing it for, so the Rolex was for me, the Louis bag was for them. So when I knew that, I thought, right, I'm stopping. What? I don't need to buy a Louis bag for an Instagram post.
That's very good. That's very good when you're doing something so other people will see you do it versus you doing something for private. But a lot of people who don't post on social media, anything that they wear, whatever, they're addicted to buying expensive. Next one.
It's crazy for me when I see someone who's got like all of the designer stuff, but like they don't do anything. They don't do anything with their lives. They're just flexing their designer gear and saving up to buy all this stuff to flex on Instagram. It's like crazy. There's someone who I know very well, one of my best friends who, I'm not going to say his name, but who I think just has it perfect, who has a nice amount of designer clothes. He's always dressed very well, but for him, he has a nice car, but he doesn't have the best car. He could afford to have a Lamborghini or whatever car he wants, but he doesn't. He just has a nice car that's nice for him, and he gets to go to nice restaurants, he gets to go to nice hotels to hang by the pool, and he just has a very nice life. but he could have so much more. But if he was doing it, if he had all the other things that were so much more and so much more flashy, he's doing it for other people. Yeah. And he's realised that I don't need to do that for anyone other than it's for me. Yeah, it's what makes me happy. And for example, like for me, I would rather spend, if I had, I don't know, say I had 2K, I'd rather bring all my friends out for dinner and then go to a party. Yeah. I'd rather be able to pay for everyone and make everyone else have an enjoyable like experience that they'll remember forever. But
okay, so we'll start wrapping up. 2 more questions. Okay. They can be short or long based on whatever you feel like. You can cut them down to a sentence if you want.
Quick fire.
But if one of my mentors in GA, football coaching back home, he said
GAs?
Gaelic football? No.
Irish football.
I know Gaelic football, yeah.
Yeah, that's what GA is.
Okay, right.
So he said to me, I was a coach back in Ireland, so he said to me, don't be afraid to tell people how great you are. And it's really stuck with me because I did have that kind of feeling of, geez, don't be showing you're wearing this, don't be showing you're doing this or going there or hanging out with him or her or whatever. But to grow on social media, you have to do that. You have to like flex, quote unquote. You have to say, I'm with this person, I'm in Ibiza, how do you, I suppose I'm asking this question like personally, how do you do that without like losing yourself to just, oh, look at me, look how great I am?
Because it's what I enjoy. All of this isn't, I don't not enjoy this. This isn't a chore.
Exactly, same as me.
So, if I go to an expensive restaurant and take a picture, I'm not doing it because I'm at an expensive restaurant.
Yes.
I enjoy going to Novikov and spending X amount because the food and the service is unbelievable.
And it's an experience.
And it's an experience. This isn't uncomfortable for me. I've saved up money and I've booked it ahead. Next month I'm going here. Like, it's not a chore.
So to tell people how great you are, it was very surprising to hear it come from him because he's a very humble guy, very successful as a GA coach, but he's not the type of person you'd hear say that. I think I needed that message at that time and I've been better at presenting my story since, but it is difficult to get over. Did you ever find it was hard or a bit of imposter syndrome trying to start doing it?
You don't have to tell people how good you are, they can just pick up on what you're doing. And I fell into the trap of like thinking I need to act like McGregor and I've got to say X, Y and Z, and it was just bollocks. Like I weren't at that. I look back at where I was in the industry at that point and thought you had no leg to stand on. How are you talking like that? Like it's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? So,
but you are great as a coach. You have a body of work behind you.
Oh yeah, that and I'll confidently say about that. I'll post a client and say I will get you in shape. I understand you as a person. I understand your routine, your habits. Yes. I will get you in shape, and then
And if you don't understand them in the beginning, you're putting your time and your effort, and like as a coach, you're giving a piece of your life to someone else to help them get better. That's the thing as well for the Creator Club is like...
If you don't do it, no one finds out about you.
Exactly. Like for me, if I'm good at something, I want to help other people get good at it. Because everyone has their own gift and everyone can be good at something. And I like to help people find what they're good at. So like, it's crazy, but there's a guy on Instagram who is a friend of mine and like, obviously ice baths is a big trend, but his whole life now is literally coaching people on ice baths, like taking people to a lake in the Lake District or wherever, and coaching them and taking them through the breath work and making a whole day out of it and monetizing it. And that's just something that he found helped him with anxiety or depression, fix his life, and now he's realized that this is so good for me. So I don't know how much money I'm going to make doing it, but I'm going to take 20 people every morning to the lake, coach them through it, help them, and they're going to benefit. And I think that's what life's about, really. Like, definitely fuck working in an office job and just sitting at a laptop pretending you're doing something. Like, that's just ridiculous for me. And like, even writing emails and like having to use like email speech, it's just like, that's just I'm never gonna ever do that.
No.
So to finish with a classic podcast question, but one I like, I've always liked it. If you advise your 20-year-old self, when Louis, I remember your very early YouTube videos,
so shit.
To the Secret Island.
Fuck.
Justin Bieber in the background.
Yeah.
But it is funny, like as different as you are now to then, so much is still very similar in terms of this is what I'm eating, this is me on a typical day.
Exactly.
What would you say to them knowing what you know now? Or would you say anything? Would you try and change anything?
I think my best story ever is just all my very close friends who I grew up with just laughing at me making YouTube videos, like cringing almost. Just laughing, and like I'd ask people to share them and they would just laugh. Haha, I'm not sharing that. And then it got to the point where it actually started doing well for me. And you know, like people in my like local town would be like, oh, can you come to, I've opened a cafe, can you come and maybe help with a YouTube video or take a photo and share it and do this and do that? And I was like, well, remember when you used to laugh at me? Like, why should I come and share a post of your restaurant when I can get paid however much by a brand to post on an Instagram story? I was like, are you willing to pay this amount? Because this is my price for me to promote you on Instagram. This is my price. So when you laughed at me, why should I do that for you? And of course, I'm not like that. So of course I still went along and did it. Yes, and I helped all my friends anyway. But again, it's just, people don't want to believe in you. You have to believe in yourself. That's the only thing that will ever bring you success, is if you believe in yourself. Like, I'm sure my mom and dad used to think like, what the fuck is he doing? Yeah. And like, I don't want to sound showy offy or anything, but like, when I told my mom I'm buying this car and I didn't tell her what it was and I drove it to my, like, on my street, like in a normal working class street, no driveways or anything, parked my car on the street, I was like, see mom, I told you I could do it. And like, I don't want to prove anything to anyone, but to prove to my mom and dad who were like, you're wasting your time, to be able to do that and to show them. And like, my dad's coming here in August, I'll be able to take him to the nice restaurants, I'll be able to take him to the parties, I'll be able to go backstage because I've made all these connections. That for me is like, look, I knew I could do it, and now you can see. So
best feeling in the world. I had a very similar experience when my parents both visited my gym maybe 2 years ago, and like, you know, they were so supportive when I started, but still, like, you know, I was 22. When I look back now and see 22-year-olds now, they're just kids. You know, and I left college and I opened the gym, and it was basically just a shed with a few dumbbells, and I built it up. And when my parents could go back into it, like, no one's happier than them at the end. But at the start, you know, when they're so worried, or people are like, is he making the right decision? It's so satisfying when it works out.
It's the best. It's what life's about.
I wouldn't say anything to my 20-year-old self at all. I wouldn't.
Keep working it out.
Yeah, I mean,
I've got that answer like 3-4 times.
Yeah, just enjoy the fucking process, and you know, because you learn. If I went back and told myself you've got to do X, Y, and Z in order for you to succeed, then I've missed out on so much development and growth. So, and that's the same answer I give every time someone says that on a podcast. What do you say to your younger self? I say nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And I have no regrets about anything. Anything that I've done, even if I've done something bad, I've learned from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, for example, me on that rooftop last summer, just going crazy for way too many weeks in a row, jumping off the top of my roof, breaking my heel. I didn't even regret it. I was like, wow, that's your time now to relax.
It's important for you to do it. Same as the whole material good thing. And I recommend, if you do come into money, go and spunk it.
Yeah.
Go and spend. I do what I did. Just go and spend it every weekend, because then you understand that actually the material good that you're trying to impress your partner with, because you're showing her no emotion, is the wrong thing to do. So go out there and do it.
Exactly, and your partner looks at your Louis Vuitton bag once and says,
that's
lovely.
That's nice. Yeah, it's so true. Literally, she said it at the airport, and then the whole thing was like,
Yeah, great place to wrap up. I'll give it to you.
What about you? What would you do? What
would you do yourself?
Yeah.
Oh geez, I went through such a hard time, like 16 to 22. Like George, I had a friend and another friend who passed away young, and it had a really big effect on me. So I'm way more successful, you know, before I even left Ireland, I'm way more successful than that kid would have known. So I still wouldn't want to change anything either. And often, both of you will be able to relate to this. Like, the worst parts of when I felt worse about myself, that was like the perfect starting point.
Absolutely.
The perfect starting point to build the business, to change direction, to change course direction. So it's so cliche to say something like that I needed that to start from, but it's so true.
And even, I think the only thing I would say to you is have a little bit more confidence in yourself.
Absolutely.
Because even you joining the Creator Club, you had all these plans to travel Europe and do this, but you were also scared and a little bit concerned and a little bit worried, which of course is natural. But in my head, I wasn't worried or concerned about you at all. I couldn't wait for you to get out of your comfort zone. Even on the calls, you were always talking. I knew that you're a nice person. I knew that you had a good heart, and you were able to talk to people, which is one of the best skills you could ever have in your life. If you're able to talk to people, you can do anything, honestly. But if you're gonna sit there in the corner and be quiet and be shy away, nothing's gonna come to you. And like there's a saying in Newcastle, which is shy Ben's getting out, which is if you're quiet and you sit there and you sit back and you take a back seat and you say nothing and you talk to no one, you get nothing. But if you go there and ask for something, like when I'm flying on a plane or wherever I am, I'll be like, oh, is there any extra leg room, or is there any business class or something? And like honestly, this is no exaggeration. 9 times out of 10,
you get it.
You get it. And I just do it. I do it everywhere, and I'm not scared. Worst that's gonna happen is someone's gonna tell me no, and I have to go and sit in my normal seat.
There's nothing wrong with that, of course.
Exactly. Or like whenever I rent a car somewhere around the world, oh well, I saw that you had this one. Like, is it how much extra is it? Oh, do you know what, we've got it. We'll just give you it.
Yeah. Same as speaking to women as well. What's the worst can say no?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Don't think I've ever been scared of ever speaking to a girl.
Yeah.
And you know straight away if they're gonna feel your vibe or not.
I definitely struggle with that little bit of shyness. I used to get frustrated with myself over it, but now I'm far more empathetic with myself when it happens. You know?
It's just time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as well, being here, this isn't a place to be shy. Like you saw already what it's like.
It's like I have confidence in my ability and what I can do. And I obviously needed confidence to, do bodybuilding shows and photo shoots and build a business. But at the same time, I am shy in a kind of social environment.
But
it's kind of it's a bit of a paradox.
But I think you're
of course,
100%. So it's been a pleasure, boys.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much.
Loved it.
Literally the best.
The best one.
Right, guys, if you enjoyed it, Kevin literally has 7. We've only covered 1 page. There's 7 pages in here of questions to be asked. So if you enjoyed it,
round 2.
We can do round 2. But it's been an absolute pleasure, boys.
Amazing.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Sign off to Louise and Tommy's over there.
Follow Tommy on YouTube and Instagram. Follow Kevin, YouTube and Instagram. Links will be down below in the description. And see you in the next one.